Okay, a special welcome to everyone again. We're going to go ahead and get started with today's webinar. What I'd like to do to give everyone a visual of what CrossCultural Solutions is about and what we as an organization encompass through our international volunteering programs is I'd like to show a video on why individuals and groups should volunteer abroad with CrossCultural Solutions. This video is going to be found on our main website, and so we invite all of you to review our website in detail. There's a lot of information and really good resources that are available to you that will help you as you are considering your international volunteering experience, as well as if you are an enrolled volunteer and you are looking at next steps and what you need to do as far as your pre-departure and traveling. So we're going to go ahead and play this video for you, and I hope each of you enjoy. Throughout this webinar, we encourage you to chat with us and ask questions, or if there's any technological concerns. My partner, Megan Hotchkiss, is on our web chat, so if you have any questions, feel free to chime in if you cannot hear the audio or if the presentation is not appearing on your screen. Feel free to type in your questions, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So I hope you enjoy.
Done anything internationally, so I wanted to do something meaningful abroad, and I really wanted to experience another culture.
I was tired of just sitting around in the same city that I've been in all my life, so I started to come to Costa Rica and help out with these things.
I work in the healthcare field and have always wanted to go abroad and offer my services. I'm a nursing major, and eventually I want to participate in programs with the Doctors Without Borders. TCS seems like perfect opportunity to kind of get a taste of what that might be like.
I guess I just wanted to do volunteer work because I wanted to do something different, travel around, so like really see the people rather than just being a visitor.
I wanted to do something with my daughters that was more meaningful than just a vacation, something that would leave a lasting memory with them.
I found out about CrossCultural Solutions through my school, and I'm doing an internship here and getting school credit for it.
I liked it, something back that I was lucky enough to experience in my life. To me, it seemed like CrossCultural Solutions had the broadest range of placements, so it fit my needs.
It seems pretty well structured and had a lot of different opportunities to volunteer in a lot of different areas.
So whether you want to be in a big city, whether you want to be countryside, whether you want to be working with kids, adults, they pretty much have everything to satisfy anybody's desire.
Here you're in a safe environment where you look after, and all the staff are really friendly.
They really want you to grasp the culture that you're coming into and the people that surround you and just everything, the way that they live their everyday lives. TCS seems to really give you the whole picture.
If you're willing to give the time and the energy, I think it can be an amazing opportunity, and you can learn so much.
There's more than just, reading a guidebook and going to the tourist spot. It's about sitting down and trying to communicate with people and trying to understand what their experiences are.
Even if it's relatively short time, you get to make quite a bit of difference. Just do it, get out there. It'll be one of the best decisions of your life.
All right, so hopefully you all enjoyed that video and it gave you a visual of what the CrossCultural Solutions experience is really like. And again, if you would like to review that video or any of our other materials as you are planning your international travels, feel free again to visit our website at www.crossculturalsolutions.org. So what I'd like to do now is go ahead and get started with our presentation for today. I'll start off by us introducing ourselves on the call so that you'll know who you're going to be hearing from throughout today's webinar. Again, my name is Sudie Nalo, and I serve as one of the managers of academic partnerships here at CrossCultural Solutions. I'm actually an alumnus of our Morocco program. I participated in the CrossCultural Solutions Morocco program as part of the Insight program, and really enjoyed the experience of being in Morocco. My placement was with La Feminine Plurial, where I was working in the area of women's empowerment. And so I really enjoyed the experience, and I'm joined today by my colleague, Megan Hotchkiss, and I'll have Megan introduce herself to you as well.
As Judy said, I serve as one of the co-managers of the academic partnerships. I'm also an alumnus of the Peru program, and I did our one-week Inside program working with, as the words in Spanish, los abuelos, which are the grandparents, in a elder care facility in one of the poorer areas in the Lima city. And also it was a great place to really be able to use my Spanish and also get the cross-cultural experience.
Great. So today Megan and I are going to give you a general overview as well as specific details about cross-cultural solutions. Today we hope to cover what exactly does cross-cultural solutions, what do we do? Who are we? Where are we around the world? What specific placements and opportunities do we provide individuals that are interested in volunteering abroad? How do these experiences relate to your academic and or college experience? So we really hope to answer these and any other questions that you might have. As far as logistics for the webinar, again, if at any point during our webinar, if you have any questions, because we really hope that this will be a robust conversation, if you have any questions, Megan is going to be on chat. So via your webinar screen, you'll see a symbol for chat, right, Megan?
Yes.
So again, if you have any questions, feel free to type your questions into the chat engine, and Megan will answer those throughout the presentation. And also, if there are any pertinent questions that Megan, that you ask, that Megan feels like would be very beneficial for the entire group, she'll share those towards the end, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and begin. To start, I'd like to welcome some of our special guests and friends that are on this webinar call today. Our friends from St. Olaf College. We also have George Mason University with us. We also have various ROTC cadets that are available throughout the nation. We'd like to welcome our Drexel University guests, also Norwalk College, and all of our guests that are a part of the webinar conversation today. We hope that you'll enjoy this webinar presentation, and any of our new friends that are on this webinar conversation and experience with us, we welcome you as well. So what we hope to cover through this webinar is we're going to talk a little bit about who we are, that is CrossCultural Solutions, what we do, our program design, and we'll highlight why you should choose CCS, and we'll answer any questions that you have at the end. So starting off, CrossCultural Solutions is one of the trusted leaders in international volunteering. We are an international not-for-profit that has no religious or political affiliation. We are headquartered here in New Rochelle, New York, and that is to provide our domestic residents who are interested in traveling abroad a direct experience in working with us prior to traveling abroad. So if there are any questions or concerns you might have, you can feel comfortable in knowing that you can just give us a call here at our New Rochelle office between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. So we are available in New Rochelle Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we communicate directly with our in-country staff that are based abroad. To date, one of the key things about CrossCultural Solutions, and one of the things that we are the most proud of in being an international leader, is that we have over 27,000 alumni who have been on program with CrossCultural Solutions. We started in 1995 with our first program that began in India. And we've now grown to being in 12 countries around the world. And we have volunteers that participate in CrossCultural Solutions programs from over 100 countries. So we're really proud of the diversity within the participants and volunteers that we have going abroad and then being from 100 countries. One of the greatest things that we're proud of is the quality of our program. We really try to create mutually beneficial opportunities through the CrossCultural Solutions experience to be of support to communities that are in need around the world. So CrossCultural Solutions does that by building really strong relationships with the countries that we're based in and our in-country staff, and students, faculties, and staff members that we're working with in going abroad. And as a result of that, we have a satisfaction rate of about 99%. So each of the persons that participate in our programs really enjoy the support and quality that we provide them for their international volunteering experience, and we're very proud of that. CrossCultural Solutions, as a result of the quality of our programs, has received various accolades and awards for our international service and service learning experience. And some of those accolades include us receiving a special consultative status with the United Nations and also the Social Council. We're also a partner of CARE International, and we've also appeared in over 500 media outlets. So we're really proud of the awards that we receive, and we really feel like it speaks highly to the types of programs that we provide our volunteers. As I mentioned before, CrossCultural Solutions is currently celebrating 16 years of service to the international community from our founding and initial inception in 1995. To start with, we'd like to really highlight what our vision and mission is with CrossCultural Solutions, both if you're considering CrossCultural Solutions as an experience, and then also if you are participating in a program. We want you to know what you're going to be a part of. And through that, we have a vision and a mission that we like to highlight to those participants. That vision being that we hope that there will be a world where people value cultures that are different from their own, and that we create a sense of global awareness and self-respect for individuals, and that we empower participants to be positive in changing the world around them. Our mission then is to operate volunteer programs around the world that will be in partnership and in relationship with sustainable community initiatives. And that in doing so will bring people together to work side by side while sharing perspectives and fostering cultural understanding. So how do we do this? How do we achieve our vision and our mission? What we basically will provide individuals is the opportunity to volunteer or serve as a part of their independent study. We also coordinate faculty-led programming. We also have cross-cultural awareness programming. We also have alternative breaks, which includes spring breaks, and we also support student-led programming around the launching of campus clubs that provide some type of international philanthropic arm. Through these programs, these faculty-led, student-led programs, we have specific program models that are very flexible. The great thing about CrossCultural Solutions is that we want to meet the program needs of the community as well as your needs and schedule as a volunteer and working with CrossCultural Solutions. So the different types of programs that we offer include our flagship program, which is our volunteer program that ranges from 2 to 12 weeks of international service. This also includes some form of individual volunteer placement, and this volunteer placement is determined by your skills and interests. When you express an interest in volunteering with CrossCultural Solutions, we have you complete a skills and interest sheet. That skills and interest sheet we then use to match with what the community says that they have a need for, and then we create a volunteer placement for you prior to your departure so that when you arrive, you'll really be providing the most meaningful service opportunities to the community as well as within your experience. We also have an inside abroad program, so say that your schedule doesn't allow for you to be in country or be international for a very long time, and that you just have a short time that's available to you. We offer a one-week project-based program that will allow you to arrive in country. You'll receive a assignment that you're able to complete within a 7-day period, where you're able to see from start to finish what your impact is. So we're very proud of that Insight program. And that's oftentimes a program that many of our faculty may participate in if they only have a short period of time that's available, or if you have more time, again, you have the 2 to 12 week period that's available to you. One other opportunity that's available to students that are seeking academic credit is our Intern Abroad program, which ranges from 4 to 12 weeks. This is a comprehensive service and service learning program that will allow a student to gain academic credit for any practicum placements, clinical placements, service hours, or internship hours that may be required for completion of academic studies. So once you choose a program, as I mentioned, that you are interested in, you then move into looking at how is the program then designed. So if you're interested in a 1-week Insight program, or if you're going to be in country for 3 weeks or 4 weeks for an intern or volunteer program, what will the program look like? The CrossCultural Solutions program is centered around our home-based model that involves volunteer placement, cultural and learning activities, and free time that may be supervised if you're in a team volunteer program, or it's free time for any of those individuals that are 18 years of age and older after completing your volunteer placement and your cultural and learning activities. This 3-part program design, we believe, provides volunteers with a holistic experience that provides you with direct practice via your volunteer service, but then provides you with some professional development in cultural competency by participating in cultural and learning activities after you've completed your volunteer service. And the free time allows for you to really connect with the community members and the individuals around you so that you can really say that you are a part of the community both through your service and in your free time as well. So as I mentioned before, the program design is centered around a home-based model that involves volunteer placement. Your volunteer placement will last about 4 to 5 hours per day with a TCS partner organization. These organizations are in the fields of community development and community organizing, social services, education, and health. So again, as I mentioned, you, the volunteer, would complete a skills and interest form, and that skills and interest form would let us know what your interests are and where you'd be interested in completing your volunteer service hours. Okay, we would match that skills and interest sheet with what the needs are of the community, and that would be your volunteer placement for 5 hours during the day. And we'll spend a little bit of time later on in the presentation going over the schedule in brief. So again, the opportunities that will be available to you is working in the areas of women's empowerment, or if you have a professional skill or experience, and this would be especially important for those college students that are interested in gaining specific professional development experience. So if you're a business major, engineering major, if you're psychology or sociology, education, pre-health, those would be the areas that maybe you have a specific skill and interest that you would be interested in volunteering in. Also, social services, if you are a social work major and you would like to volunteer at an orphanage or daycare center, and that will provide you with direct experience. We also work in areas of gerontology and working in homes for the elderly, also special needs facilities, and various non-governmental organizations that are social service-based. We also have various volunteer placements within the educational system, looking at schools and vocational training, so English as a second language, and so on and so forth. Also, for our individuals that are interested in health placements, we have various health placements that are available to you throughout our 12 countries in health clinics, hospitals, and public health facilities. So a typical day for a volunteer then might include waking up in the morning, having breakfast at our home base. Then you would be transported to your service site where you would complete your 4 to 5 hour placement, as mentioned here. Then you will return to the home base for lunch at about noon. And from noon to 1, you would have lunch at the home base. And then for about 2 hours in the day, you'll participate in a cultural and learning activity. These cultural and learning activities can include a general orientation to the country. So most of our start dates begin on a Saturday. So you arrive in country on a Saturday, You'd have your orientation on a Sunday that would give you a general overview and welcome to the country that you would be placed or that you would be located in. Following that orientation, throughout the week, a cultural and learning activity might include a city tour, feedback sessions from your volunteer experience. We also may have guest speakers in journalism and mass communications, or we may have guest speakers come in that may talk about social and economic development, politics and social justice, economics, community organizing, culture, language, history. There's a range of guest speakers that we might have come in to speak with you about what the community is really like. One major part of the cultural learning activities through CrossCultural Solutions is our language instruction. And Megan, you can help me with this. So within our country, the language instruction might include, for instance, if you're in Brazil, you would have about an hour-long language instruction in Portuguese. Also Spanish for Costa Rica,
Peru, Guatemala, Russian in Russia, Chinese in China.
Also in Morocco, you would have Arabic language instruction. And so within each of the countries that we're placed in, part of the cultural and learning activity will include extensive language instruction.
And one thing I like to mention about that, if it's a language, say like Spanish, where there's a lot of typically American students and our volunteers may have more access, they break the language classes up into beginning, intermediate, and advanced, and the professors are typically community college, high school, college, university level professors that are coming in. If you're organizing a faculty-led group or student group and you wanted additional, or even as an individual intern, you can always get additional language. If it's a lesser-known language, say something like Swahili, there's advanced lessons available, but the majority of our volunteers are getting those basic phrases so that they can have that better cultural interaction on your day-to-day placements and maybe understand a little bit to help make your life in country a little bit easier. So we do have the flexibility in terms of language level, and that's part of what you can do in your pre-departure paperwork, or let one of us know if it's something for an individual student or a group that you'd be interested in.
Absolutely. And as part of the pre-departure support, we would let you know what the language basis might be, so that if you'd like to brush up on some of your beginner language skills prior to departure, you can. But by no means do we require individuals to be fluent in a language in order to participate in a CrossCultural Solutions program. Also, as a part of the cultural and learning activity, which is something really fun that we highlight as part of the TCS program, is our cooking lessons, dance classes, and cultural classes, and also our excursions to local historical and cultural sites. For instance, in my program in Morocco, we visited the King's Palace. We also did a tour of the Rabat Market, which really allowed us to learn about the social interactions of the people of Morocco in depth. And Megan, I'm not sure which cultural learning activities you participated in Peru. But
we actually had a, one of the things that's my favorite cultural and learning activity is the guest lecturers. So we had a journalist who's actually an American that had lived in Peru for about 20 years, and he spoke with, he worked for The Economist and the New York Times, so he had a really anecdotal sort of insight into the culture. And then we also did a great walking tour of downtown Lima. So the cultural and learning activities are typically on a 3 to 4 week rotation. So if you're there for a 1 week insight program, you may not get to experience all of them, but if you're in, say, a program like South Africa that has a 3 week minimum, you're not going to be repeating them. If you're a 12-week intern abroad, typically the volunteers will do them, and then once you're there 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, you may choose to have one-on-one meetings that our in-country staff can help you provide.
Absolutely. So we really, again, try to enhance your experience based on the amount of time that you're in, and we're very flexible with what we can provide you via all the activities that are available. And you will note, and even the pictures on the slide, that some of the cultural and learning activities for Brazil may include capoeira as a experience, also tie-dye making, batik, and then also dance activities, and it's just a lot of fun that really provides you with a robust experience observing and then coming back and learning and sharing directly in some of the country's cultures and customs. Another part of the schedule during your volunteer experience will include free time. So we do have structured and scheduled opportunities for volunteers during the day. So at about 8 o'clock in the morning, you may have breakfast. 9 o'clock, you're doing your service activities. You come back to the home base and have lunch. Then we have the cultural and learning activities in the afternoon until maybe about 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think that depends on the sort of local culture. Some are a little earlier, some are later, and then you get all the fun activities.
Absolutely. And then after that, you have the opportunity to participate in free time activities on your own and that you would coordinate yourself. And those free time activities may include evening and weekends and some afternoons that will allow you to explore the local country, build relationships with local people, and connect with other partnerships. So for instance, again, if you wanted to go to Marrakesh or Machu Picchu,
you can, one thing that's great is, Sudi will talk about it, but you're staying at our home base, and that's like in addition to our in-country staff, that's giving you an instant family. So what I noticed on my program, and you probably saw this as well, Sudi, is you may be an individual volunteering, but there's going to be a lot of other volunteers that want to do the same thing, so that you'll actually, all of our home bases have a logbook where past volunteers write, oh, when I did Machu Picchu, I used this tour company, I stayed in this hostel. So it's a great way to sort of, there may be volunteers, we get volunteers from over 80 countries, so you may get the local connection of the country you're volunteering in and also getting to make friends from all over the world.
And in making those friends, you can go on excursions during your free time, which is a really great experience as well.
Oh, I had one other thing to add with the, especially for some of our faculty with the faculty group, this is when you're, if you're having course and learning objectives for the intern programs or for our faculty groups, this is when you could also have guest speakers or organizations that are for your group that are separate than the regular cross-cultural programming, which we can sort of go over if you ever wanted to schedule an individual meeting.
That's actually really good. So you can have the guest speakers to come in if it's a faculty-led programming, and then you can also use this free time for structured lectures if you want to have a separate lecture as a follow-up to the volunteer experience or the service learning experience during the day, and that also offers reflection time for any of the groups that are coming in. So if you are traveling as a group, you can structure the free time to be the time that the group is meeting together to discuss what has happened today, during the day, and to also, if you have any special things you'd like to highlight as part of the experience, it allows you to do so during that free time. So as we mentioned before, we talked a lot about this home base, and we mentioned that our programming and CrossCultural Solutions model is surrounded by the home base and outlined by the home base. So now we're going to go in a little bit of detail about what the home base is. And so basically with our home base, we have lodging that's available to you that's in a safe and comfortable environment. CrossCultural Solutions really has safety and security as a focal point and as paramount to what we do. We know that we are in communities of need, and we recognize that. And in recognizing that, we want to make sure that our volunteers are able to give back to the community and engage in relationships with communities through a safe and secure experience. So our home base is, as you can see here in the photos that are available to the right, we have shared bedrooms that are available. We have common rooms and dining areas. We also have a resource center and logbooks, as Megan mentioned, that will highlight excursions and other experiences that our volunteers had. We also have phones that are available to our volunteers, and most of our home bases are wheelchair accessible. Included in this home-based model are meals and snacks. So each of our volunteers will receive 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. One of the highlights is because you are a part of a country, a culture, and a custom, all of our meals have regional cuisine influence, and they are prepared by our TCS staff cooks, and we have unlimited bottled water supplies that are available to our volunteers.
One thing about that, since we're preparing all the food, I have a group going that has a highly allergic student and a vegan and a vegetarian that I've been working with. And that's something that really, because all of the food is being purchased by TCS and prepared in our home base, if you do have any dietary concerns, that's something that we can always accommodate, and just to our volunteers let us know before they go, so that that's something that in your risk and safety that we're very happy to accommodate.
Yeah, that's great. And so basically with our home base, one thing that we pride ourselves on is that we have in-country staff who are local nationals of the countries that our programs operate in. These in-country staff are well-versed with all the information that is necessary and pertinent about the country that our volunteers need to know. They provide airport transfer, pick up and drop off from the airport, also transportation to and from volunteer placement, and also coordinate the cultural and learning activities for our volunteers. So we're really proud and just elated with the in-country staff that we have available to our volunteers that are a part of the TCS staff that really provide quality experiences for our volunteers because they're from the countries as well. So now we're going to move into talking about specifically what our programs offer volunteers, and we again want to highlight in this discussion the flexibility of cross-cultural solution programs. So each of our volunteers can travel to 12 countries, and our start dates range year-round. Again, you can visit our website, www.crossculturalsolutions.org, and when you hit on, you can click on Start Dates or Enroll, and it will let you know what dates are available. But one of the great things about Cross-Cultural Solutions is we're based in these countries year-round, 365 days a year. And so we are very flexible as to when you can travel in country, and our groups were able to create customized dates if you're a group of 6 or more. So if you review our program start date and you don't see one that will accommodate your schedule, you can request a customized date for a group of 6 or more. We will try our best to accommodate those requests as well. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to turn it over to Megan, who's going to then talk to you a little bit more detail about each of the countries that we're located in and what you can expect by traveling to each of these specific areas. Because each of our countries, I'm sure Megan will share with you, are very unique in their experiences in the culture and customs and the types of placements that are available. So,
well, now we're going to do, I always dub it our mini sort of TCS World Tour, and basically I'll be going around the world by regions. Starting sort of in our own backyard, we do have 4 countries in the Latin America region, starting with our, if you're looking down at the far right, that's Brazil. This is our Portuguese-speaking partner, and Brazil, we're actually based in the city of Salvador, which is the 3rd largest city. It's known as the Afro-Brazilian capital. I've actually lived in Salvador, and it's really the place of song, dance, music. It's one of the best places where you get the fusion of the African presence, the indigenous, and also the European influence. It's a great beachy, tropical. There's things like carnival. There's the influences of candomblé and capoeira and the Brazilian song and dance. So you really can't go wrong with finding, in addition to the great CCS placements, enough cultural and activities and travel opportunities. Brazil is a great site because there is so much to do in Salvador that you don't have to necessarily travel all around Brazil. If you're looking for a place where you can really go and stay in one place for the whole week or the whole 12 weeks you're there. Then heading back up north, we're in Guatemala. We're in the capital of Guatemala City, which is, this is a great program that if you really want a Spanish immersion, all of our programs, you don't have to know the language, but with Guatemala, it's one of the places that is really great for health nursing students, health placements, really if you want to get some clinical observations. Our program director, Virginia, really loves to make sure that the programs are highlighted and really getting, it's probably our #1 for health placements. Next, we have also in Central America, we have Costa Rica. This is a great program. Costa Rica is a really familiar country for a lot of Americans. We get a lot of our first-time groups and individuals that go there. We're actually in 2 sites in Costa Rica. We're in Cartago, which is the 3rd oldest city in Costa Rica, and it has their famous basilica. And we're also in a region called San Carlos, which is a more rural, sort of a smaller town America theme. In Costa Rica, both of our sites have a lot to do with education, working with children, working with elder care. So this is a great place for social service students. Also a really great place for interns and for Insight 1 week. We get a lot of our alternative spring break groups that go there. Finally, in Latin America, we're in Peru, which is the program I'm an alumnus of. Our program in Peru is located in Lima, which is the capital. There's about 11 million people. If you're looking for a really urban, sort of fast-paced, moving, very similar to like New York or Chicago, and it's a great place. It's an international city, but still has the Peruvian flair. So this is a really great place to sort of get an urban experience while still getting to volunteer. Our placements there are amazing. They're social services, education. This is a great place to work with for students that are working with populations with disabilities. Our elder care, our social work students also get great shadowing opportunities. So transporting to the other side of the globe, we have 3 programs in Asia. The largest country that we're in Asia is China. Our program in China is actually in a city called Xi'an, which is spelled X-I''AN. And Xi'an is an interesting place. It's on the old Silk Road. It's one of the 4 ancient capitals of China. If you're familiar at all with any Chinese history, there's a lot of Buddhist temples in this area, and the terracotta warriors were actually found in one of the former emperor's tombs in this area. Our Chinese placements are great for teachers. There's a huge need in China for their schools to actually get English as a first language speakers to come in and actually teach and assist in classrooms. And if you're really looking for a placement where you get a lot of prep time for lesson planning, China's a great place. Then we move on to Thailand, which is sort of the hub of Southeast Asia. Our placement here and our location is actually in Bangkok. Our country director in Thailand actually ran the Peace Corps in Thailand for about a decade. So she has amazing placement opportunities, and pretty much any type of placement that CCS has, you can find in Thailand. Because it is such an international city, our home base is actually located a little bit in the suburbs, but then our placements are located all over the city. Thailand's one of the few places that our volunteers actually can take the metro to some of their placements if they are sort of comfortable with that. So that's an area, if you really want an urban experience in Asia, that I would recommend. Finally, we're in India. Our program in India, like Sudhi said, is our oldest program. It was the sort of our flagship country, which our director opened 16 years ago. And India is unique because, like Costa Rica, it also has 2 program sites. But the reason it's unique is for 9 months of the year, the program site is in Mumbai, which was formerly known as Bombay. And this is, I mean, one of the top 5 largest cities in the world. The placements are all around. There's a lot of working with children, working with orphanages, social service placements, working with children with disabilities. And then for the other 3 months of the year, when Mumbai just gets too hot, our whole program staff, country director, and everyone actually gets transported up to Dharamshala. Dharamshala is in the Himalayan mountains. It's actually divided into 2 areas, Upper Dar es Salaam and Lower Dar es Salaam. And Upper Dar es Salaam actually borders where the government of Tibet has been exiled. So this is a great, if you're sort of a geopolitical studies student, we get a lot who really want to see these. You have an Indian population where all of our placements are, because what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of the international aid is actually being directed towards the Tibetan refugees. And so the Indian population, there's this sort of civil unrest and conflict that it's a great place to observe that. So after Asia, we jump over to Africa. Africa is our most populous region in terms of countries, and we sort of are getting the whole gambit of the continent. Starting in the north, the program that Sudhi's an alumni of is Morocco. In Morocco, you're getting the Arabic cultural influence, But our program site is actually in Rabat, which is the political capital, and there you're really getting to see the Moroccan history by getting to see the French and Spanish influence as well. Morocco is great for working with children. We also have a lot of women's empowerment, which is a placement that Sudi did. Going below the equator, switching from Morocco, we have Ghana. Ghana is a great program. We have 2 placements in Ghana. We have 1 placement in Ghana, and it is, if you're looking for a great rural sort of village, agricultural sort of earthy connection, Ghana and our Ho-Ho region is great. You're really getting a sense of what village and smaller town African life is like. Our placements here are a lot of working with children and adults and schools, and really getting, most of our volunteers here do less traveling just because they're so connected with the local culture. Moving over more to the east, we have Tanzania. In Tanzania, we have 2 sites. Probably the most recognizable is the site for Kilimanjaro, which is obviously at the base of the mountain. So it's a very international tourist city. Not as populated as, say, someplace like Lima, but you're getting trackers and tourists from all over the world, and it's a great place to go on safaris. In terms of our placement, we really get a lot of the social service placements, doing a lot of education, health education campaigns about nutrition, working in schools, and then we're also in the Volta region, which is about a 12-hour drive, but on the other side of the country, and that's more similar to the Ghana placements. It's a little bit less laid back. You're in the middle, the heart of Tanzania, really getting to see the culture and the people. And its placements are still very similar, with a lot of education, working with children. There's a little bit of microfinance that you can do there, so they're both great placements. Lastly, we're in Africa. We're specifically in South Africa. In Tanzania, our last placement is in Bagamoyo, and that is the area that is sort of the more rural, less busy sites than Kilimanjaro, but still a great sort of connection to the Tanzanian people and culture. And it has a lot of the beaching and fishing communities. People go to Zanzibar on the weekends, and it's just a more laid-back, tranquil, really getting in touch with the people and the culture. So finally, we're in South Africa, which we're in the historic city of Cape Town. And this South Africa is really a place where you really get the connection with all of the history with apartheid, with the Afrikaans culture. You're really getting to see how this country has evolved with all of the historical facts and movements such as Nelson Mandela, sort of how their history is played out into the modern day. South Africa is great for social service, social workers, and students doing education co-ops. You really get to see sort of how the township populations have evolved and sort of the modern play on historical data. Lastly, we're in Eastern Europe. We're in a city called Yaroslavl, Russia, which is about 5 hours driving from Moscow and about 12 hours by train from St. Petersburg. Yaroslavl is actually our most repeated country. So the volunteers that are going here, they love our staff, they love our placements. It's a lot of working with children in orphanages, education. Russia is actually one of the few places where you get to volunteer at multiple placements. We send so many volunteers there that the placements, you actually are on a rotating basis. So it's kind of a unique little program feature. And it's in the area called the Golden Horn of Russia, and it's a lot of Russian Orthodox, the Golden Ring, churches and cultural sites. So just to conclude, really what we wanted to go over with you today is why should you choose TCS, either as an individual, as a group, or on a university program level. The number one is we can give you the individual attention from the pre-departure process, once you're in country, and then once you return. We can really take the experience and customize it and cultivate it to make it your own. The main focus of any of our programs is safety and security. So with all of the events that are happening today on a worldly basis, we really want to make sure that you're having an amazing experience with your volunteer and you're getting to know a country, but that you're doing it in a safe and secure fashion. As part of this, because we do maintain a presence in all of our countries year-round, we can have the flexibility of the program. So if you do need custom start dates, if you do have any requests, we can always work with our in-country staff to try to accommodate you as best we can. And finally, since we are U.S.-based, but we also have our program staff in all of our countries full-time 365 days a year, we can offer all of the comprehensive pre-departure services and at the same time offer all of the great in-country support. So that's sort of the recap of why we think TCS is a great organization to volunteer with. And moving on with the individual attention, as I said, we sort of walk the volunteers through from start to finish. And basically how that works is we help you with the pre-enrollment support. That's really sort of answering the who, what, when, where, and why, helping you find the perfect program for yourself as an individual, your student group, or your faculty group. This is really, since we are a 501c3 nonprofit in terms of our IRS tax status, all of our, we have an organizational commitment to transparency. So there's really not any questions that we can't answer. And we feel confident that our volunteers that choose to enroll really stand behind our mission and our vision.
And let me just chime in there really quickly. So basically, this pre-enrollment process and the pre-departure preparation, this is the part where if we have a volunteer that's never traveled before or who has never been to a country, this is the major part where we would like to ease any fear that a person may have in going abroad. Traveling or volunteering internationally may be something that we all may express an interest in, but you may be asking the question, what immunizations are needed? What documents do I need to travel? Where am I going to be staying? What do I need to know about the culture, the customs, and the people? So all the logistical questions that may prohibit someone from going abroad because they don't know how to do these things. CrossCultural Solutions provides that support extended to go abroad. And so this is taken care of by our program site specialist. So the process would be is after you enroll in a program, you'll communicate with a program site specialist who knows what documents are needed to arrive in country and what you can expect when you arrive in country as well. So that pre-departure support really will take care of that and sort of preparing you to go abroad and while you're in country.
And what the program site specialist, all of the pre-departure paperwork that Sudie mentioned, once you've enrolled, we actually create you. We have our own CCS network. It's similar to, say, like a Facebook network, and it's called My CCS. So everything, all of your pre-departure documents and everything you need to know is all centrally located, and it starts under your checklist. So you're not having to go to the CDC website. You're not having to go to the visa website. Our staff is going to give it to you. We even do pre-departure orientations. They're typically phone conference calls for all of the volunteers that would have your same start date. You actually get to connect with the volunteers before you go in country. And we also, I'm going to let Sudie take it over from here about sort of how that transition. So you finished your enrollment, and she's going to talk to you once you step off the plane into the airport, how are our in-country staff going to then take you to the stage 2 of your in-country, and how do you start?
Absolutely. So once you have, through this My CCS portal, you'll have a profile that's created that will house all of your departure documents. Because you can imagine planning a 3-week, 4-week, 12-week travel abroad, what the experience might be and how you organize your paperwork. So this My CCS portal, as Megan mentioned, is where you'll keep all of your paperwork organized for your travel abroad experience. Okay. This information will then be transferred to the in-country staff so they will know about you prior to your arriving in country, and they can prepare themselves in the home base for your arrival. So they've made all the logistical arrangements and prepared for when you arrive in country. They'll meet you at the airport and then bring you to the home base, and having all this information available via the pre-departure process will really help in organizing the experience for you once you arrive in country. So that being said, one of the main questions that people have in going abroad is how safe and secure are these areas? Again, as we mentioned, you're going to areas that have an expressed need. And so in meeting those needs, how does CrossCultural Solutions assure that you'll be safe and secure in your experience? Okay, how we provide that is we have a 24-hour hotline in the United States. That again is why we have a base here in the New York headquarters area, so that we will know firsthand in a very quick time any issues that we need to be made aware of on ground from our in-country staff that need to be communicated domestically in the United States. So we have a 24-hour hotline that connects you from your program site in country to the United States region and or area. We also, CrossCultural Solutions registers every volunteer with their embassy. CrossCultural Solutions also provides daily monitoring of the U.S. State Department travel warnings. Also, consular information sheets are available as well. We also have established policies and protocols that handle all personal, local, and national emergencies. So we're prepared to handle those both from our New York base as well as the in-country base and in-country staff who are also trained. As part of the safety and security initiative, before we do have clean, safe food and drinking water, just to make sure that our volunteers are all going to be healthy in country. We also offer in-country ground transportation. All our vehicles have been approved, inspected, and insured through CrossCultural Solutions. We have highly trained and experienced in-country staff. And again, our home base is exactly as we described it earlier. It's a home base that's gated and guarded, and only our CrossCultural Solutions participants and in-country staff participate or live in the home base. And as part of your program, included is a comprehensive travel, medical insurance, and emergency evacuation assistance. So in providing all these services to you, a program fee is required that is 100% tax deductible. Again, the program fee covers all the services that we mentioned earlier, your pre-departure assistance, and being able to create this portal for you, the MyTCS portal that Megan mentioned. Also, the participant handbook. Each of the participants will receive a handbook that will have detailed information about their specific site. Your volunteer and intern placement will be coordinated by CCS. All the cultural and learning activities, the home base, your lodging and food are covered in the program fee. Your in-country transportation, local and incoming phone calls, your insurance and evacuation, and the hotline for friends and family to contact you are all available. In supporting your travel experience, for those volunteers that may be interested in fundraising opportunities, Megan and I will be able to share detailed information with each of you about fundraising opportunities. CrossCultural Solutions has a fundraising guide. We also have fundraising letters that we can share as a resource to you. We also have banners and buttons that can be used to help you in fundraising for your program fee. We also have community discussion boards, and we also offer various scholarships, grants, and matching gift program resources for anyone that might be interested in participating in a CrossCultural Solutions program. And Megan or I would be happy to share more information about that with you on a one-on-one basis for those of you that would be interested in receiving more information. So finally, we'd like to conclude and leave with you our contact information for you to follow up with us about your CrossCultural Solutions experience. We hope that this webinar provided you with insight into what to expect if you are enrolled. So we are excited for those of you that are participating in the webinar who are going on a CrossCultural Solutions program, and we really hope that this prepared you and made you feel even more ready to go abroad and be of service to our communities. And for those of you that are considering the CrossCultural Solutions program, we hope that this webinar really gave you more insight into the types of programs and services we provide, and we look forward to you being a part of our CrossCultural Solutions experience. Now we're going to open up the conversation to some of the questions that have been asked throughout the webinar that we would like to highlight and share. I think we had a question about the language piece. And with that, again, I'd like to highlight that CrossCultural Solutions does not require that you know the language prior to participating in the program. So you don't need to feel like you need to be an advanced speaker of the language in order to participate in the program. And I'll let Megan chime in on that as well.
Yeah, and that's something to highlight, I always like, is that the language is there to enhance the experience by letting you, something that on all of our re-entry surveys, the volunteers are like, I wish I could speak more of the language to have that people connection. So it's a great program for students studying language, but it's also something, like my mom has been on a program, but she doesn't speak Spanish, but she at least got some little phrases when we were in Peru. We had another program, a question about academic credit, if you're interested in the internship program. And basically, how you earn credit on a CCS program is through your home college, whether it's a community college, a four-year college, or a four-year university or a graduate program. Basically, what you would want to do is you can contact us, and we can help you figure out the office, whether it's a study abroad office, an academic advisor, a career center, that would give you credit through your home institution, and then we would be able to help you craft your learning goals to meet all of those learning outcomes that you would need, say, for your 3 or 6 credit course. We had one other good question that came in from one of our cadets about visas. All of our programs, our main participants are U.S. citizens, so when you're talking to the pre-departure staff, you always are providing a copy of your passport. If you don't have a passport, they'll give you information about how to apply. You always want to let them know which country you're a citizen of, and then our staff are literally, as Judy mentioned, monitoring all of the pre-departure requirements every day. So as one of those documents that they'll send you, they'll actually send you explicit instructions for when do you need to apply to your visa, where, do you have to do it in person, can you do it in mail, or if it's a country, say like Costa Rica, there may not be a requirement. So that's something that once you're enrolled, our staff will literally will give you a personal call and they'll go over all of this information with you. Somebody else sent in one question, and I think I'll let Sudi answer it, about exactly what is an alternative break.
So an alternative break for students, as we wrap up, is going to be anything outside of the spring break opportunity. So typically we know that colleges and universities, their spring break weeks are during the month of March. So an alternative break for a student may be, or for any groups that are considering alternative breaks, is anything outside of a spring break. So say, for instance, your school has a winter term where in the fall, most colleges and universities are done maybe the first or second week in December, and you want to organize a group of students that may travel, that want to travel a week or 2 weeks prior to Christmas, or the week after Christmas before the spring semester starts. Those are considered alternative breaks. So anything outside of the spring break, winter term or winter break, or prior to the spring break beginning, or prior to the fall semester beginning, will be an alternative break for us to consider. So those are some really great questions. And again, if you have any additional questions following this webinar, both mine and Megan's information is on this final slide page. Feel free to write that down and give us a call or email us, and we'd be happy to answer those questions in detail. And we'd just like to take a moment to thank each of you for being a part of this webinar, and we look forward to you joining in on the CrossCultural Solutions experience.
And I just had one other quick thing. If you check our events page, we have open houses here in our headquarters in New York, and then for our friends that are around the world and in the United States, we also have a lot of alumni information sessions. So if you wanted to check your area, I think this week alone we have 17 sessions being offered around the continental U.S. and Canada. That's a great place if any of your classmates or group members couldn't participate in the webinar to check out, or if you wanted to gain a little bit more information, you can see which country one of the alumni went to. So if you're interested in having a session at your school or in your area, email us and we can work with our alumni coordinator. But thank you so much for all the questions, and we look forward to working with you and your groups and your universities and colleges in the future.
All right. Have a great day.
Bye.